Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J Dub. Let's get to it. So, I look at this Denver team, and we talk a lot about what Steph Curry is doing, him being at the top of the league MVP votes. We're talking about what Giannis is doing. We're talking about what KD is doing. And the reason why we don't talk about what Joker is doing is because this team that he's on is barely 500. As I believe, as of right now, they're in eighth place in the Western Conference, and they've been decimated by injury. Right? They've been decimated by injury. There have been some guys who haven't been playing as well as I thought that they should. I thought that Aaron Gordon would be better than what he is. I thought that I would get more than 14 and 6 out of him. And we were talking about a lottery pick who was a freak athlete. I just thought that he would be a better defender. I thought that he would be a better rebounder. And Joker has essentially been carrying the load on that team. But the reason why we're not talking about him for league MVP is because that team isn't very good. The NBA set the criteria and they deviated from it in the 16-17 season. But before then, they set the criteria that being a league MVP requires that you are on a winning team, unless you're doing something astronomical, right? So, with the exception of the 16-17 season, Jabbar was the last guy to win league MVP on a team that wasn't a top 3 seed in the NBA. And that was in the 75-76 season. So, we're talking over 40 years that happened. And the NBA, they took a different route with Russ in the 16-17 season when they awarded him the league MVP because he did something that hadn't been done in 60 years. I'm sorry, in over 50 years, which, by the way, was puzzling to me because the guy who had averaged the triple-double, he didn't win the league MVP that year. So I think that they realized that the precedent that they set, they screwed that up. So they went back to, you have to be a top 3 seed in the NBA. Because I'm looking at what Joker is doing right now. You know, he leads the Denver Nuggets in points, rebounds, assists, and steals, and he's tied with Aaron Gordon for blocks. So he's not just their best player. He's one of the 5 best players in the game. We're talking about a guy at 26, 14, and 6, and almost a block a game, and a steal. He's crucial to everything that they're doing. And Denver is one of the best defensive teams in the game, and that's largely due to Joker, which is ironic considering that he's not a very mobile and not a very athletic guy. But Joker is very good at cutting off angles. Joker is very good at rebounding in tight spaces because of his ability to block out and his ability to mix it up. He's really good at that. So I'm not surprised at what Joker is doing because he did something similar last year. And if we had a better Denver team in front of us, if they were even a top 5 team in the Western Conference, we would absolutely not have this conversation. We would have to consider Joker as a back-to-back league MVP. We would have to do that because of what he brings to that Denver team. I think they sink to the bottom of the West if he's not on that unit. He's everything for them, absolutely. And since we're on the subject of bottom of the Western Conference, I thought, to segue into that, I thought that there were teams that were going to be bad that turned out to be better than what I thought. I had Cleveland in the play-in tournament. Actually, I had them right outside the play-in tournament. I'm sorry. I had them right outside the play-in tournament. I had them at 12 before the season started. And they're absolutely in the middle of this thing at 7. I mean, they're in the play-in tournament, but they look like they could be a legit playoff team come the end of the season. And I know we got a whole lot of basketball to play before the regular season ends, but they look to me like a legit playoff team. What Rubio has brought to that team in terms of veteran leadership, you can't put a price tag on that, particularly when you have young guys. So Cleveland is a team very much like Minnesota, very much like Charlotte, Oklahoma City, where they're not going to get big time free agents, which means that we're going to have to build it through the draft and through trades. So we have to get this thing right. Otherwise, we're going to stay in futility in terms of the playoffs. And they've been able to turn this thing around with what they've been doing. I think the acquisition of Jared Allen was huge. I think he's what I think he's the one thing that the Brooklyn Nets are missing. And I'm going to get to Brooklyn in a minute. Okoro, who I wasn't that big of a fan of them bringing in Markin because I thought that Okoro could be a Sean Marion type of player in Cleveland. I thought that he could be that type of player, a great transition player who could rebound and get out in open space and just create havoc. I thought that he'd be great for them. I'm not really surprised. I can't say that I'm 100% surprised with Garland, and the reason why I'm not 100% surprised with Garland is because they spent a lottery pick on him. I think we in year 3. Shouldn't this guy? He should be panning out. I think we're in year 3 with him now. He should be panning out, and he is. And I think that's largely due to Rubio teaching him the game. He didn't have the opportunity to have a vet point guard to play behind, or not even just to play behind, to play alongside, to show him the game, like a number of other different guys have had in the past. So I like what Garland is turning out to be. He's solid with the basketball. He's really good. He's really good in the mid range, and he can shoot the long ball. I'm very surprised at that. I think that they're going to move on from Sexton. I do think that they're going to move on from Sexton and see if they could get something for him. I just don't think he fits with this unit. I don't, and that's not to say that he's not dynamic. We're talking about a dude who was 25 a game, so that's not to say that he's not awesome. I just don't think that he fits with this unit. I still stand by Evan Mobley as my rookie of the year. I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers may have themselves a franchise player in Evan Mobley that we can build this thing around. And Garland is another piece in building that thing around Mobley. I think that that's very important. But I can't say enough about the acquisition of Jared Allen and how big that was for Cleveland and how much he helps them. Which brings me to how Brooklyn how much they miss him. Brooklyn is one of the better teams. I think they're the best team in the NBA at guarding against the long ball. No team in the NBA guards the long ball better than Brooklyn. And they should, because in terms of defense, they're top heavy in the backcourt. They got a lot of dirty work guys in Brown and Bembry, Patty Mills. They got dirty work guys in that. The problem that we have is that James Harden leads the team in rebounding. That's going to be a problem going forward. Because when you get to the playoffs and you run into those bigger teams that gang rebound, like Milwaukee, like Philadelphia, like Chicago, we need dirty work guys in the middle, and Brooklyn doesn't have that. And I think that that's going to be a problem moving forward. There is no question about what Kevin Durant is doing. Kevin Durant, on average, this season, he's shooting the highest mid-range field goal percentage that he's shot in his career. He's shooting almost 60%. Total, on average, he's shooting almost from between 3 to 10 feet and 16 feet to the long ball line. On average, he's shooting almost 60%. So that's the best that he's been. That doesn't really surprise me, considering Kevin Durant has never been a high volume shooting guy. I mean, he's averaging almost 20 shots a game this season, but he's never been a guy who needs 23, 25 shots like other high volume scorers. That's not his game. That's never been his game. So Kevin Durant is not in question, and I never question him. The thing that I'm concerned with the Brooklyn Nets, I've been concerned with it, and I'm still going to be concerned with it until they shore it up, is that they're thin in the middle. And that's going to be a problem going forward. And then until they fix that, I'm still not on the fence. I'm still not sold on Brooklyn. I think that they're fool's gold. And I think that this looks great on the surface. We're talking about a team that, they got 7 losses, right? Not only do they have 7 losses, They have 10 games that they've played against playoff teams. They 3-7, 3-7 against playoff teams, and 5 of those 7 losses are against Eastern Conference playoff teams. So this is, and I think largely this is due to them not being able to deal with what's going on in the middle, being thin in the middle. And until they shore that up, it looks good on the surface. When we get later on in the season, this problem is going to generate into bigger problems. So I'm hoping that they can shore that up. But it's good to see you guys again. And like I said before, yeah, we're gonna start doing this a little bit more. I'm definitely getting back more into this. So it's good to see you guys again. And as always, take it light, but take it.